Hi there, welcome to the Ching Cafe. My name is Belinda Dubston, and it is super that you are here with me for our weekly Ching forecast for the week commencing the 8th of June 2026. Before we get stuck into what this week is asking us to pay attention to, let's cast our minds back to last week. We had Hexagram 12, standstill. Stop, 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 stop. Accept the stop. Don't be a victim. Coupled with Hexagram 17, following. Being that tracker, following the tracks and the signs, one at a time, following the steps forward to guide you to where you need to be. So where did you experience standstill energy last week? Where things came to a standstill, a stop, obstruction, cut off communication, difficulty in moving forward, needing to accept and be at peace, with our two changing lines giving us a little bit of insight of where we pick up our kin and move on and do what needs to get done. Plus, where standstill was, it suddenly swaps into its opposite and movement proceeds again. Where did that show up for you in your life this past week? I had physical standstill, a muscle spasm in my shoulder. And then, to top it all off, I put my 4 fingers onto a hot pan and sizzled them. And as that was happening, I was thinking, oh, stand still, here it is again. Okay, so hopefully you didn't have physical experiences of it. Definitely lots of physicality this past week. Stand still in its prime. I hope that you got through it and that you found a way not to be a victim, right, but to be the victor in your power and just being at peace and accepting wherever the stoppage came to greet you. Embracing the stoppage. All right, let's get into this week. I must tell you, we are going to be challenged, but that's okay. We can get through this because this week what returns is Hexagram 44, encountering or coming to meet. I know one of you said, oh, I feel so nervous when this hexagram comes up. Yep, it's an uncertain, difficult, fractious energy, a connection, and encountering a meeting. Sometimes meetings highlight where there's a kinship and an affinity, and sometimes meetings highlight where there's opposites, where there's a clash, and learning how to work our way through the encounter. Here we encounter something. So in this week, we'll work with both meanings or both facets of this hexagram. Both are one aspect, which is the meeting, the encountering, coming across something that seems innocent or unexpected or different or high energy but uncertain. And this one is not made for marriage. Okay, whatever this encounter is, it's a moment in time, it's an energy, it's a process, but it's not one that we create a long-lasting, stable foundation through. So the week may feel a little bit unstable and uncertain. Okay, that energy of encountering something, coming into something, meeting something. Maybe there's a connection here, or a work connection, or a personal connection. But this is something that is bringing energy. This is bringing a moment. This is bringing a call to being in the present, in the moment, taking what you can out of the encounter, but one that is not made to last. Okay, enjoy it while it's here. Whether that's the fling, whatever it is, enjoy it. The other aspect of this hexagram is to always be mindful of negativity coming into our lives, our personal lives, our belief systems, into our families, into our workspaces. Belief systems that seem innocent, okay, that grow in time and become toxic. I certainly experienced this when we had this a couple of weeks ago, where we had this energy, very much needing to root out some negative issues within my team. So work with just having your feelers tuned into where that negative energy might be. It might even be internal, the way we think. And I always use this example with this hexagram is the little baby cute pig who's so cute when it's a little thing, right? And when it comes into its fullness as a big hog, it is a wrecker, a home wrecker, a work wrecker. And we've got to think about being able to see the seeds of things and where they might lead way before we can see the result or the outcome of those things. We have to be vigilant and hyper-tuned into the long-term repercussions of what seems like a silly non-issue now. That is what the week is asking us to do, whether it's the encounter, where it's about just experiencing the encounter as it is, or whether it is about a negative issue you need to root out. We need to be tuned into the things that are happening around us and being mindful. Are they just a moment, just a blip on the radar, right? Not a long-term thing. And what might result in the long term if we don't root out, okay, this weed right now? What may happen to the people around us, to what we're creating, to our flow, if we don't get in and solve this issue now? Nip it in the bud is probably the best thing that we could take into this week as a strategy. Nip it in the bud. 2 changing lines in the 3rd and the 4th position. You know, if you've been watching a while or listening a while, you'll know that line 3 and line 4 are often quite tricky. They are on either side of the chasm. On the bottom of the hexagram, we've got a 3-lined trigram, and then we have the top 3-line trigram. And so this transition point from the inner to the outer that we have in line 3 and line 4 is quite tricky. All right, so in line 3, okay, this line talks about there's no skin on the buttocks. Okay, so when I read that in the book, what I think about is having watched a big cycle race, and we saw someone come off their bicycle at full speed and slide along on their butt, okay, on that gravel. Oh, just it actually hurts my skin just thinking about it. And as they were tumbling, you know, these butt cheeks came flying past us, and they were just raw. Sorry for the image there, but when I see this line, that is what I think of. You're going along on your bicycle and everything's going well, and you're in the flow and you're in game face and you just think that everything's fine, and you come off that bicycle and boom, boom, boom. Okay. Now, this line speaks to being harmed or hindered in some way. Okay. You are pretty hindered if you lose the skin on your butt. Okay. You are sleeping on your tummy for a very long time. All right. This is the idea, right? We are harmed in some way, and we have issues come up, goes to the past, issues coming to bring us challenges, right? What we have to do is we have to go back to the thing we're following, you know, building on that energy from last week, the 2nd hexagram. Connect back to what we're trying to do. Okay, what's important, where we're going, get back to the core, get back to the root, right? Get back to what it is we're trying to do and reorientating our energy around that, and then moving forward. There is a mention for this line that we have this injury, or we have this process of being, you know, hurled off the bike, and we see it as a stoppage, a continuation even from last week, but actually it's preventing bigger harm. So if we can just be at peace with what has happened, okay, with what the injury is or what the process is of, oh, you know, there's an injury, I've fallen off the bike, and we make peace with that, we can move forward, all right? We don't get caught up in what has happened. Okay, so that's really important. And there's like such an interesting follow-on of energy. Maybe I have already pre-done that by burning my fingers, right? So let us be mindful, okay, when we come across that setback or that injury, right, or this pain that has come across, or a difficulty that's come into our world, is we deal with the issues, we look back in the past, we root out the issues that are linked there, we pull ourselves together, and we focus on moving on, because this stoppage has somehow saved us from some other problem. Okay, so it's okay. We're going to be okay. It's just a little bit of a shift in direction. Once we've got through that line, we now cross the chasm to the other side, all right? So we're on the other side of the chasm, as it were, and that line, line 4, speaks about there are no fish in the tank. Okay, so something here is barren, a barren womb. The creative possibilities in some aspect of what we're doing have left, are not there, or were never there. So what we do when you work with all these lines is we just stay open to how they are mirroring back to us. We trust that if we hold the idea of these 2 changing lines, and we just hold them lightly, we don't hunt down where this thing is happening to us. We just hold them lightly, because you might not experience either of these lines strongly or at all. Just hold them lightly. Don't create extra burden on your energy around it. Hold them lightly and trust that when your life mirrors and aligns with these lines, if it does, that you will resonate and see it. That's all you have to do. Because the moment you see it and you say, oh, okay, there's no fish in the tank. All right, there's a situation here. We were hoping to fish. We were hoping to catch some reserves, some area, something that we were anticipating we'd be able to take on as nourishment. it's empty, it's barren. And the lesson is learning to recognize that. All right. So we hold it lightly. We hold lightly coming off the bicycle. Okay. We hold it lightly and we just say, if there is some kind of stoppage, some kind of injury, some kind of setback, we just take the line and we let it mirror back. And we say, what is this line asking us to do? What would the master do in this situation? Okay. And that's what we move towards. That's all we have to do. So we have an injury, a setback, some kind of thing that's actually helping us, even though we can't see it, right? And we have no fish in the tank, where we need to develop the conscious awareness of where we're trying to fish, where we're trying to farm, all right? There's nothing here to do. We need to just accept it and move on. Okay, we can do it. We can work through these lines. Our second hexagram for this week, where this is moving to, is potentially supportive of our work on those two lines. It's hexagram 59, dispersing. This is the warm wind, okay, the top trigram blowing over the frozen lake. The warm wind melts and thaws the stuck issues. So what this energy brings is a gentle, persistent dispersing and whittling down of the things that are stopping us from moving forward, the things that are locked up, the things that are frozen, the emotions that have become inaccessible. All those things slowly start melting. It's not a dramatic explosion of energy. It's the gentle thaw of slowly we become more and more released. When we think about in nature where the lakes freeze over, okay, I'm not sure if this is a real thing, but I seem to think I've seen a documentary where a fish gets, trapped in this water and it gets frozen up and it goes into kind of like a hibernation state, and then when it starts to melt, it starts moving again. It's that kind of idea that there are things that have been locked away from us, inaccessible, where those are thoughts, ideas, emotions, or physical resources, things that are a little bit frozen and locked up, and they start to thaw. Okay, what we do is we persistently apply that warming energy to disperse not just the energy that's blocking us, but to disperse our illusions and our delusions and our erroneous belief systems, and we wash it away, we blow it away. Literally, maybe you go stand in the wind. Okay, this week, find a way when there's a windy day and you stand in the wind and you just visualize that wind blowing away all those stuck issues. All right, drink more water, whatever. It's that kind of idea of just washing it away and releasing those toxins. That's what the second half of the week is asking us to lean into. So yes, we have this interesting encounter. We have both the difficulty and the challenge we have to deal with coming off the bike. We have the challenge of recognizing where something that we thought was going to be rich, okay, and full of potential is actually creatively barren, and making peace with that, okay, finding a way of letting it go. And then as we move, clearing the toxins, clearing the issues, releasing the stuck energy. Okay, that's what we need to pay attention to this week. Thank you so much for being here with me. All the best wishes for the week ahead. If this was valuable, you know what to do. Thumbs up, a like would be great. And of course, if you are new to the channel, subscribe, hit the bell, hit the follow button on the podcast, and I'll see you next week for our next weekly forecast. Until then, take care.